Alright YouTube, so we're back, of course. Holidays are over, time to get back into some content creation. We have an update for the Advent Children situation, I guess you could call it. Advent Children come back to theaters February of next year, about a week or so before the release of Rebirth. And one of the big talking points from the last video was, of course, the additional time. Like, what we're seeing coming to theaters is 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is about 14 minutes more than what the actual runtime is of Advent Children Complete. I have a couple of bits of info coming out from finalweapon.net about this, but their source, at least the one they link to, is adamtickets.com, which gives us a synopsis, but that's where we learn what the additional runtime seems to be. So they say, placeholder listings have officially gone live for Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Complete in the US. This includes websites like Fandango, AMC, Regal, and Atom Tickets. The film will air in the United States on February 21st in English dub and February 22nd in Japanese sub. An official announcement has yet to come from Square Enix. However, these listings confirm that we will see the film returning to theaters in the West. So that's one of the parts I wanted to read and kind of talk about, because people had that question in my last video, is whether or not the showings would be in English or in Japanese. And according to this, there's going to be both. There's going to be dub and sub. But I don't know where that comes from, because any of the websites that had these like placeholders for tickets or whatever, that any of them that have the casting only show like the Japanese cast. So I don't know where the information comes from that we're going to have it dubbed. And a very curious thing I just want to know too is whether or not are they just re-releasing it, or do they re-record it? Are they going to use like the current cast? I think that'd be kind of an interesting idea. Just like what they did with Crisis Core Union, right? They re-recorded that entire game with the current voice acting cast, but also recorded lines that were never recorded before, and I think they changed some of the dialogue around, right? So, like, I could see them wanting to do that with Advent Children potentially, but also they'll probably just leave it, to be honest. I'm just going to read the synopsis directly from AdamTickets.com. It says, continuing the storyline based on the hit PlayStation game Final Fantasy VII, 2 years have passed since the ruins of Midgar stand as a testament to the sacrifices made in order to bring peace. However, the world will soon face a new menace. A mysterious illness is spreading fast. Old enemies are astir, and Cloud, who walked away from the life of a hero to live in solitude, must step forward yet again. And this is where the new stuff is. Additionally, arrive early for a short film featuring new interviews with the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth development team and Advent Children creators, alongside action-packed gameplay from the game, which launches exclusively for PlayStation 5 on February 29th, 2024. So obviously that appears to be what that additional runtime is, which means that short film will be about 14 minutes. It's going to have some of the devs for Rebirth, but also some of the creators of Advent Children, which is also some of the devs for Rebirth, and apparently some gameplay from the game itself. And 14 minutes is pretty lengthy, man, so I don't know what we could get from this. I don't know what the interview would be like exactly, because we know quite a bit about Rebirth. I guess there's still some details we don't know, but it'll be kind of interesting. I'm wondering about the gameplay is kind of the interesting bit, I guess, because that could be like some brand new stuff. I assume since they're going through the effort of doing this, there's probably going to be something here, whether it's in the interviews, in the gameplay, something, a combination of both, whatever. I assume it'll also be something they drop on like social media at some point. I wouldn't think they'd want to do it before the movie actually comes out, because I want you to go to the theaters and shit to see this, but I would assume whatever this like short film is would be released on social media sometime before the release of Rebirth. It might show it early, like kind of like the fucking little recap video we got for Remake that's supposed to be in Rebirth. They already dropped that obviously for us, so maybe they'll drop this at some point too. I'll be honest, it's a little bit underwhelming, because I was more so looking forward to the possibility of some new stuff. I don't know what you do exactly, like something involving Rebirth, Remake, the Remake project, whatever. Maybe like a teaser trailer at the end of the fucking movie, like a post-credit scene, or during the credits, you could do like a little teaser of something involving the games, whatever. And that is still a possibility. Just because there's an additional 14 minutes and we know there's a short film, doesn't mean the whole 14 minutes is the short film, right? They could do like 10 minutes, 12 minutes for the short film, and then there's that additional time for something else. That's, of course, a possibility. But as of right now, we just kind of have to assume that the 14 minutes is that short film with interviews for the devs and shit. It's more or less a video, my dudes. There's some other like little bits about this that's out there. Like Advent Children Complete's coming to theaters in Japan actually in January for like a bit of runtime. I'm assuming that won't have the additional short film or whatever. There's also like other stateside listings for other theaters where it's showing like Advent Children, but it's 101 minutes, which is like the original release. That's like, it doesn't have the additional shit that Advent Children Complete has. Like, there's some other things here and there that are kind of weird and kind of interesting, but this is kind of the main thing that we need to talk about, of course. What was that additional runtime? Seems to be the short film. The video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, _DavidYT. That's it. Bye. I wanted to smack it really hard. I did.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.